Yes? And maybe there is room to change this legislation. What we do, black letter law, you're going to have professionals on this, contract law, criminal law, tort, and so on. There is a different approach in terms of content and in terms of form. I'm moving my hands, I'm Latin, but it has to do as well with the nature of this unit. Yes? I'm not going to be using only the third person. If you are in court, black letter law, you ought to use the third person. You cannot address a judge or a prosecutor or the defense using the first person. Yes. I think, I believe, I argue. You cannot. You must use the third person. Details like that, many, from the way you address to the fact that you have to wear a wig in certain cases and so on. This has to do with black letter laws. Please pay attention to your tutor. Yes? What we do here is something very different. You are going to see the law and you are going to tell us whether that law needs changing or should remain the same. Or maybe we need to learn something from Brazil, from Pakistan, from India, from Zimbabwe. Yes? You have to tell us this kind of thing. So we are going to judge the law as it is and see whether we need to change that legislation. A particular topic, obviously. Yes? That's why we are going to be able to use the first person when writing or the third person. That's why the presentation, the kind of presentations are going to be slightly different from what you see in other modules. Why? Because it's you thinking. Yes? If you tell enough after doing your research whether we need to do something about that legislation. Yes? There is no right or wrong here because you tell me your opinion and then I'm going to have to counter-argue your opinion. Yes? So this is how we grow in any science. If not, it would be a dogma. If not, it would be a religion. Yes? If I cannot argue against you, that's a dogma. You have the absolute truth. Yes? That's not a science. That's not a science. Yes? You are not going to do that in criminal law. You are not going to do that in tort. You are not going to do that in international law. Yes? You have to learn the law and apply that law, that legislation to a case. What we do here is go deeper, not better. It's a different approach. Yes? Just get that legislation and see whether that legislation is working. Yeah? This I'm going to jump. Here, the whole unit is divided into two terms, term 1 and term 2. The terms are very short. The first one, now, until December, we're going to deal with theory. This may be, I'm teaching this, the first lecture, this may be the most boring part for many, because we are going to be teaching you vocabulary. To differentiate mainly, there are many systems, but mainly law from religion, from morality. It is not the same to say that a certain behavior is forbidden by the Bible, the Quran, or the Torah, that to come to the UK or to any other country and say that behavior is legal or illegal. Yes? We tend to see this kind of confusion, as I said, in the media. Yes? When we criticize certain behaviors from other cultures. Yes? We may criticize them. We are from a different culture. Yes? However, that doesn't make that behavior illegal. We need to check the legislation. We're going to deal with this vocabulary and the different systems. From playing football or rugby, that's another system. That's another set of rules to applying criminal legislation, criminal law legislation. We're going to deal halfway through with certain issues like gender change. We're going to have someone teaching you here. He was originally born as a baby girl, and nowadays he's a male professor. He's going to be teaching his own experience here. He's going to be teaching you legislation about gender change. We're going to have someone expert in discrimination law with cases from India. So I'm going to deal with the theory, and then we are going to have probably the best in terms of research we have here in this house, professors and readers teaching you specific examples to apply what we learn in theory into practice, how this theory impacts people in the UK and in other countries. The kind of exam, I'm going to refer to the exam later, there are assessments. We have two. For the first term, it will be an essay, a coursework. We changed from last year. We changed, I'll explain now. It is going to be a coursework, and I'll give you more details in a second. The second part, we are going to deal with asylum seeker cases, with terrorism, with forced marriage, with differences in culture. It's going to be society, the second term. And we are going to have something new as an assessment. We are going to have, for the first time, an interview. It's going to be a one-to-one interview, which means sometime in April, you'll have to come here and you're going to have two people asking you a few questions. You are going to apply to a position, you are going to write a cover letter, you are going to prepare a presentation, and you are going to deliver that presentation, and after that we're going to ask you questions. That's in April. So we switch. We're going to have a coursework, and then we are going to have an oral examination. That is why the first part of this module will have to do with academic writing. Most of the workshops will have to do with academic writing. The second part, oral presentation skills, yeah? Simply because of the assessment. What I wanted to show you here, all the information, let me see, all the information is on Moodle. This is your Moodle page. All the information is on Moodle. You have here on Moodle, and it's printed, the booklet, the first part of the booklet, you have the unit guide. If you don't have copies, don't worry, there are more copies upstairs on the 6th floor. As you leave the lift, outside the lift, there are more copies of this booklet. If not, I have more copies in my office. Bibliography, you don't need anything. Everything you need is here. If you don't have this, don't worry, everything is on Moodle. I've already put everything on Moodle. Here you have all the workshops for term 1 until December, all the workshops until December, plus the first 2 workshops in January. Yes? We have here 11 workshops with all the reading material. Yes? However, if you want to research, if you want to answer your coursework, that's why I put here bibliography. This is the first one, Freeman. This is the Bible or the Quran in jurisprudence. You don't need it. This is for PhD level. Yes? However, you are going to need to do your research in February for your coursework. Yes? So that's why you have the bibliography here. You are not going to need this. Don't buy this. Yes? However, in February, when you have to do your research, and I'll refer to the assessment later, you may need this. They are in the library. And you are going to need probably a few pages out of the whole book. Unless you fall in love with this unit, and there are very few people that do, get it. I wouldn't recommend you to get this at this point. Yes? You are going to waste your money and your time as well. You are not going to need this. Yes? But you have this as bibliography just in case you want to further your research when you have the assessments. Yes? Not before. Everything you need is here. Clear? Yes? If you don't have this, again, more copies on the 6th floor. If, for whatever reason, you come back from holidays in December, yes, after December, you come back in January, everything is on Moodle. Everything is on Moodle. Your reading documents plus all your workshops. The classes, I'll talk about the feedback later. You have all week by week here, all the lectures and all the workshops. Each lecture is followed by a workshop. Yes? Apart from this one, because this is only an introduction, it's just a unit. Apart from this one, each lecture will be followed by a workshop. The workshops are very practical and they are in smaller groups, 15 to 20 people. Yes? 2 hours long with a tutor. The only thing I'd like to say, here in January, we are going to have what we call the first formative assessment. What is a formative? A formative is a practice. It's a mock assessment. You come to the class and you're going to have the opportunity to practice there as if you were taking the real assessment. After that, you are going to have a second week. This time I'm going to add a second week for feedback, a week specific for feedback. Suppose the coursework. You come to the class, you write your essay. You hand in your essay, I take the essays home. That week I'm going to read your essays, or your tutors, I'm going to mark your essays, your practice essays. And the week after, you come here and I give you your feedback and we'll talk about your feedback. Is that clear? Why I'm stopping here? Usually the groups have 20 people, 15 to 20. I can tell you now, and I have people from last year here, I can tell you now that probably out of 20, probably 6 or 7 people are going to turn up. Yeah? It is a pity. Why? Because you are paying, even if this was for free, but you are paying for that. You are paying to practice, and you are paying to have one-to-one feedback. This is all before the actual assessment. The same person that is giving you the feedback is the same person that will do the marking. Yes? So you come to the formative, you do your essay, which is a practice. You make all the mistakes you wish, and then you have feedback. My advice, come even if you don't prepare anything. That's my advice. I can tell you, out of 20, not even half are going to turn up these 2 weeks. Yes? Even if you don't prepare anything, my advice, come to the feedback session, because at least by paying attention to the feedback we give to someone else, you learn how we do the marking. Because I think we are the only unit, we follow the marking criteria, and we explain you the marking criteria. How you can fail, because people make an effort to fail. How you can fail, trust me, you have to make an effort to fail, but some people don't. How to fail, how to get a third, how to get a 2-2, and how to get a first. We explain, I think we are, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we are the only unit that has a workshop dedicated to explain you, to make clear how we do the marking. My advice, come to this session. And why? The practice is here in January. The submission for the first one, for the essay, is in February. Yeah? So you have plenty of time to work on your feedback and to submit the actual coursework. Similar, the oral examination will be in February, in April, sorry, the interview. In March, here, in March, you are going to have 2 sessions for the interview. You are going to come and we are going to have a mock, a practice interview. You are going to get feedback on the spot. You know? So literally, I'm having an interview with you. After the interview, I'm going to tell you, you did this right, and you should think of improving this. Yes? Simple things like wearing a cap, because this is supposed to be an interview. We are not going to be as formal as the mood in thought. Yes? However, you shouldn't come to the interview wearing a hat. Yes? Why? Because in the real case scenario, if you went to an interview, I doubt someone would give you a position wearing a hat. Do you see these kind of things? Yes. We are not going to be that formal. However, we are going to take into account. We'll explain all these details. I'm only putting an example. Yes. What I'm trying to say, and the only thing I'd like you to remember today, try to make the effort to come to the formative. Yes. I can tell you now, in April, if we have half in February, in April, we'll have 5 people per workshop group. Why? Because the same week you're going to have exams, you're going to have assessments, you're going to have practice, you're going to be busy with something else. Yes? My advice, even if you don't prepare or you prepare very little, come, because at least you pay attention to the feedback we give to someone else. Yes? That is my advice. Why? Because in this particular case, the interview, the same person that is in your workshop will be one of the 2 that will be in your exam. We have 2 people in the interview. We are going to have the main marker and the moderator. The main marker will be your tutor. Yes, the main marker will be your tutor. So you come in March, and then you know how your tutor will be asking you the questions, and how your tutor will be marking your interview. Does it make sense? Yeah? Good. Back to the presentation here. So once again, remember the study guide plus the workshop.